Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Lynette Marshall, and I work with the Nyack Public School District as Nyack Basics Coordinator. I want to thank you so much for joining me today at the invitation of Tammy Belcher and Giant Leaps Occupational Therapy as we work together to reach children and to empower them for life. Basics is based on 5 principles for early engagement with every child from birth to age 3 is the most important phase of development in life. Those are to maximize love and manage stress, to talk, sing, and point, to count, group, and compare, to explore through movement and play, and to read and discuss stories. Those are 5 basic principles for early readiness and early success for life. Um, Today I'd like to present basic principle number 4, which is to explore through movement and play, which makes me even happier because, as you can see on my t-shirt, the slogan for Giant Leaps Occupational Therapy is to experience the power of play. So immediately I know that there's a lot that we have in common, Tammy and Giant Leaps Occupational Therapy and myself. For children, physical activity, exploration, and play are important for so many reasons. One is because of the development of strong, coordinated bodies, healthy bodies. Another is the fact that physical activity also exercises the mind along with the body. Young kids babies learn by touching and by reaching and by grasping and experimenting on their surroundings, this cause and effect, all of that is so important to build learning and to build a love for play. Each new phase of physical development brings new opportunities for growth and for learning and development. Babies need time on their tummies. It's called tummy time, and they need that every single day. When babies are laying on their tummies, they are lifting their heads, they're developing upper body strength because their heads weigh the most out of anything that they're going to lift on their little tiny bodies. They do all of that, and then all of a sudden they're developing and they're forming crawling motions. And the more they spend time on their tummies and the more their upper bodies strengthen, all of a sudden they do start crawling, which is a really important developmental milestone. When children then start crawling, then the next thing to do is to encourage that, to encourage them to move, to explore, and to reach further and to go further as they become more physically capable. Climbing and sliding and even falling down are all parts of discovery and learning for young children and for babies. It's such a great idea to kind of give them space, to give them a chance to problem solve, to see how things work when they're moving and when they're putting force on something else that they're moving, to build resilience, tenacity, a love for movement, a love for play. Allowing them to take measured physical risks is something that's also so important for play. And I know that that's very difficult as an early childhood educator for 21 years, to be able to carve out the space for young children, for 2-year-olds, to be able to explore their surroundings and play and get physically involved, even if they fall down and if they're not very dangerously and severely injured, which we don't ever want that. But those little boo-boos that they get, we help them get back up. We kiss them. We put a Band-Aid on it sometimes. We put a boo-boo bunny on sometimes. And we say, you're such a strong girl and such a strong boy. You're so brave. Let's go back and play. So that they get that expectation that sometimes we do fall down, but we can get back up and we can go back and play. So let's talk about play. When we tell children, go out and play, or it's time for you to play, we're talking serious business. Those of you who are familiar with Mr. Rogers, and I'm a huge fan of him and his foundation, he was a huge proponent of play. He and his colleagues stressed the imperative nature of play in the life of every single child. Play is the work. of childhood. Play is the job of every child. Every child's job is to learn to play well. There's a spectrum of play. There's all kinds of different play. There's free play, which means children are able to play in their environment, play with what's around them, kind of do what they want to do freely. And then there is guided play, which is structured, often by adults, and there's everything in between. The fact that parents and caregivers can help encourage that play, that we can help encourage that social engagement and communication and exploration and experimentation and risk-taking and problem-solving, those all create deep and profound impacts in the lives of children because they play, because we've given them the space to play. Sometimes our spaces for play are very different, depending upon our home situation and our home settings, depending upon our outdoor play areas and what those encompass. But even in a small home, even with more confined spaces, we can allow children to play. Again, we don't have to buy expensive things, expensive toys, expensive apparatus. They can play with what they have in their homes, and we can encourage that because it's interactive. It's us alongside of them. It's us on the floor with them, helping them see how much fun it is to play. As such, play is linked with a range of a lot of positive outcomes for sensory integration, for STEM, for science, technology, engineering, mathematics, all of that development that the groundwork is laid for in early childhood. Social, emotional development, physical health, all of that is involved. And guess what else? We want babies and young children to understand play is fun. And in actuality, play is good for all of us. Playing with our babies and young children is great for them, but it also helps us moms and dads, as older folks in the lives of young children, because it also decreases our stress. It helps us to engage with them. It helps build those bonds, and it helps us to feel better about ourselves because we're feeling great about interacting with our babies and young children and building all the skills they need to play well and to be well. Oh, what did you say, Nick? This is my friend, Nick, and he's here to help us today to see how much fun it is to play. There's social play, there's pretend play, right? Oh yes, Nick loves to pretend. He has a great imagination. There's object play, there's hands-on investigation and learning, and movement to support the development of motor skills, coordination, of overall physical health. And we're building that for life, building a love of all that activity in the lives of babies from the time they're doing tummy time and crawling and exploring. When my children were babies, it was so much fun to get on the floor with them and to crawl around with them, next to them or just ahead of them, to encourage, to mirror, and to supplement that play and help them to see how much fun it was because mommy and daddy were crawling around with them. I'll never forget those days and how much that built their confidence and their desire to explore. Play even helps lessen the effects of toxic stress in our lives, and I know that life can be and is so very stressful from day to day, especially with all of the challenges we face in the present world in which we live. So we can never underestimate the value of play and the impact of play. This friend, Nick, loves to do something that I'm sure me all remember, or that you all may like to do, and it's a way to play and to move. And it's called head and shoulders, knees and toes. And Nick, can you show everybody your head? Yay, there's your head. Where are your shoulders, Nick? Where are your shoulders? Yay, strong shoulders. Where are your knees, Nick? There are your knees. And where are your toes? Oh, there they are, all the way down there. We're going to play head and shoulders, knees and toes. This is a great way for us to move along with our babies and young children. Are you ready, Nick? We'll do it slow first. Are you ready? Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. That was excellent. Yay! What, Nick? You want to do that faster? Oh, do you think our friends want to do that with us? Okay, are you ready, everybody? Let's do it. Ready? Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes, and eyes and ears and mouth and nose. Head and shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Woohoo! Yay! Nick, that was fantastic. High five. Thank you so much for helping us play today. That's a very simple play, interactive opportunity and moment that we can do anywhere with even babies. As soon as they're able to move with us a little bit more, we can guide them through that play. We can help them see how much fun it is to identify their body parts, to touch their head and their shoulders and their knees and their toes, to stretch and to feel their bodies moving and just get that joy of learning and playing together, which is essential for their lifelong learning and wellness. And you know, when we do allow our babies and our children to play, we can watch them. We can see what they're interested in. We can see what they gravitate towards. Placing things when a baby is on their tummies and placing things just out of their reach so that you know they're going to be able to touch that block or touch that toy that you've placed there intentionally. Then they're going to be able to grab it and manipulate it and play with it. They're going to get cause and effect. I move my body. Oh, if I stretch a little bit further, I'm going to get that rattle. I'm going to get that scrunchy toy. And then the next time, they'll see it and they'll remember their success and they'll be able to build on it. It's magic. It's beautiful to see what happens in the lives of babies and their children when we believe that they can grow, we believe that they can play, and we see them and we encourage it. And you see how incredibly interesting they are as people from the time you're born. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to spend time with you again next week for our last of 5 sessions with basics principle number 5, which is to read and discuss stories. I hope that you have a great week until then. Please stay well, be loved, and love well. Thank you so much.